Are we back?
We are
All
back.
right, all right. Welcome to another edition of Live Feed Reads. I'm Paul
Yes,
Reed, your host, with Jason
Jason
Crawford, the
Crawford.
Ed McMahon to my
That's right.
Johnny Carson.
How'd it do?
Before we went on the air, it's funny, we were talking about today's show. Well, I don't want to ruin it, but I was scanning or perusing the headlines and I saw, and I'd kind of been uh, uh, keeping up with this throughout the years. I was still alive when Ronald Reagan, who was, of course, the president back in the 80s, was shot in an assassination attempt by John Hinckley. And that was in 1981. And I said, Jason, do you remember? And his response was,
I wasn't alive. How can I remember? Oh man, I was born in
that's
'83, so
that's
I was a
freaking sad. So
twinkle in my dad's eye.
for those of you who do not know, John Hinckley, well, basically was a an individual who took it upon himself to shoot or attempt to assassinate the president back in 1981. He had a trial, and believe it or not, he's one of a few individuals who were found not guilty by reason of insanity. Um,
Wow.
and Yeah, exactly. Wow. So he was sentenced to a mental hospital, if I'm not mistaken. And
Wow.
he served 34. I say served. I guess you don't serve time in a mental hospital. He spent 34
Yeah.
years in that hospital
Sure. Okay.
until I guess he was declared fit to re-enter society. I believe he re-entered society living with his mother about 10 years ago, give or take. And recently, he petitioned the court, this would be a federal court, to basically be released from all restrictions and federal government oversight. And the court agreed. So
Can I just?
hold on,
Is
his
this
unconditional release is
okay?
June the 15th.
Okay.
And so I guess I can't, whatever. I mean, you try to kill the president of the United States, in my opinion.
It's not a crime anymore if the
Yeah, I
president's
guess.
dead
I guess
already.
not.
And what, 6 That's like, oh, I have a mental illness. Oh, the thing that made my mental illness exist is gone. So you can set me free
Well,
now.
what's even sadder?
I,
So it
get,
says,
I don't
okay,
understand.
what? I'm not there. I don't know John Hinckley,
I haven't followed
whatever.
it at all. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, but so he's, I guess, what does it say? An aspiring songwriter who a singer songwriter who has a YouTube platform with 27,000 followers. And
Maybe
I
he
don't
was
know.
going for country music, but he hadn't lost everything yet. So so he needed more to be able to write about. I don't know.
Yeah. So let's see, he was 25 when he shot the president, and that's 81. So hell, I don't know how old. I'm not a math major, but he's got to be getting up there.
Yeah.
All right. So there's that, and then kind of transitioning into what's going on with that is now he didn't use an assault rifle.
Sure.
He
Okay.
used a pistol, okay, to shoot the president. And it's you ought to there is video of it. So you should watch it. It's interesting.
Okay.
The president's walking out of somewhere, and there's
Yeah.
a secret service around and other individuals, and there's the crowd of people, and Hinckley
This
just
is your appointment reminder.
yeah, Hinckley just starts blazing, and I believe he shot the president in the upper torso. They jam him into the limo, and
Yeah.
off he goes to the hospital. So there's definitely video of it. You can watch that. Familiarize yourself with the most recent,
Yeah. I
I
pulled it up
believe,
while you were talking.
yeah,
Yeah.
assassination attempt.
Yeah.
Uh, and then so of course now, even yesterday, the day before, certainly if it was the day before Wednesday, I wouldn't have caught it. I was watching the Lightning game. But of course, because of the shooting in Texas, there's another call for a federal ban on assault weapons. Now, most of us think of assault weapons as AK-47s, AR-15s, and other types of Uzi type machine guns. That's typically what I think the
Mm-hmm.
American people kind of understand as an assault weapon. forget the other, 9 millimeters or this, that. I think when they're talking about assault weapons, they're talking about AR-15s, AK-47s, and machine gun type weapons that are
Yeah.
used in all the mass murders that have been going on now for a while.
Which typically are not designated. I mean, there's no whatever. There's no
Well,
technical
yeah, I'm not,
designation for them. But yeah.
I'm not taking a position. It's interesting, and maybe I guess you're born in '83, so you're only 10 years old.
Yeah.
But when you were having your 10th birthday party, little Jason, the
Mhm.
federal government did enact a federal assault weapons ban in 1994, and it lasted. And again, that was for the types of assault weapons that we attribute to be the AR-15s, AK-47s, and whatever was in vogue back in 1994. I know the gangs were using the Uzis and different things of that nature. So, and then also certain high ammunition magazines. So that was in effect for 10 years. And just so you'll know, of course, the NRA, the NRA and other entities challenged the ban and lost. So then the question is, of course, we have a different Supreme Court now, but the question is, back then the ban was in effect. It was challenged in the courts and upheld. Would that happen today? Well, your guess is as good as mine.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's what they're trying to do. Say 20 years ago, or 30, what is it, 94, 2004, 29, almost 30 years ago, the ban was upheld.
Yeah.
And what happens after 10 years, it's called a sunset provision. And basically the ban went away. And then, you could start buying and selling assault weapons again. They tried to, continue with it, but I guess the political climate at the time was such that it did not get renewed.
So the first school shooting I remember was Columbine, but that didn't happen till almost 2000. Was it like 1990?
Was it 99 maybe?
I think. I was a 16, 17. Yeah, somewhere around in there. So, yeah.
Yeah, there was a bunch. There unfortunately.
But that was
here's
after the ban.
Here's a story.
That was after the ban, right?
One of the shootings that occurred, we talked about in law school. I went to law school in 1993 in Texas, right?
Okay.
And it was a shooting, I believe, in Texas, and it happened at a restaurant called Lubby's, Lubys. I don't know exactly how. We were in criminal law or something, and the teacher called on me, and I called it Luby's. And the people in Texas laughed their ass off.
Oh, because it was local.
Florida boy called it. They called it Luby's, and it was Luby, and it's Lubby's. And I'm like, well,
a ruby is Ruby.
Like Ruby.
Yeah,
yeah, I remember that. And the fact that I think
it doesn't make any sense.
23 people were killed in that shooting.
Wow.
Yeah, and 27 wounded. So it wasn't a small event, and but
there was no social media back then. I don't remember.
Well, exactly.
I don't remember hearing about that one. I do remember hearing about Columbine, where only 12 people were killed. Maybe it's because they were students and it was a school, and maybe that was different than a restaurant or something.
Again,
but I don't know.
Yeah, there was no social media, so what? It probably made the news cycle.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing about it.
Or maybe a week, who knows?
Yeah.
And that was it. They made the paper once, the headlines. And so, yeah, the social media has changed everything. What's funny or interesting, and again, you're young, but Mom's sitting over here. Say hi, Mom. Back in the day, if you ran out onto the baseball field, and it was more baseball, which happened every game.
Yeah.
And there used to be actually this attractive, big-breasted, blonde-haired woman, swear to God, that would run out to the pitcher's mound and give the pitcher a hug. And yeah, and the pitchers loved it. Okay, whatever.
Okay. In New York, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
I forget her name, but you can Google it. She was well endowed.
Okay.
Yeah, no, she didn't. Stay away. She did not. But anyway, that
Overruled, Mom. Overruled.
That facilitated people running out on the field and at football games and all this. As soon as they stopped showing that, it quit happening. It certainly declined exponentially. And I read somewhere someone saying that's what should happen in these shootings. Don't even talk about it.
To take it beyond.
No who did it, no anything. And would that affect these people, these kids or whomever, sitting at home in their basement saying, I got nothing to live for. I'm going to go out in a blaze of glory and people will know who I am. What the answer is, no, they won't, because the media, social media or otherwise, is not going to even talk about you. All you're going to do is die.
Well, you know, with my background in mental health counseling and social media, honestly, like, that extends beyond just the gun argument, debates, or conversation completely, because you look at the way that TikTok in and of itself has increased the number of people with presenting disorders and in a glamorous kind of way, almost like I'm celebrating all of my different personalities inside, and today I'm taking so and so out to lunch, and it's like, go girl, and blah blah blah. Like, it's literally just become this positive reinforcement ring for how many issues I can have, and like that's come out of nowhere. Like back in the 80s, 90s, like who had this litany of people inside your head, and now it's literally like, oh, everybody's got that.
Yeah. Anyway, by the way, the ladies that I remember now, it was Morgana, Morganna, and they called her the Kissing Bandit. But she was not the owner of a baseball team at all. They called her Morgana the Wild One. I think it was let's see.
Come here. Oh,
so that's funny. But yeah, she'd run out onto the field, and yeah, she actually remember WKRP in Cincinnati. You remember that show? Well, she kind of looked like the blonde-haired woman on that one. I forget her name.
Oh, okay. Okay.
In fact, let me see here. Let me see if I can. I got this pulled up. Share. Oh, here, hit share screen.
Me hit share? You hit share screen?
I want to share it. You got to let me. Host disabled. Participate screen sharing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can share it with me. I don't know that they'll see it.
Oh, really? Oh, then don't worry about it. Well, anyway, she, like I said, she looked like I forget the lady and what her name was, but WKRP in Cincinnati. She was the secretary. She was the blonde-haired lady.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
I can look it up.
She'd run out on the field, give her a hug and so forth. But anyway,
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I think that can't help, because again, you see a lot less of people running out. And if you're watching a sporting event and something's going on, they actually don't show it. The announcers sometimes even will, you'll hear them say, there's someone on the field or other. Sometimes they don't even do that. Sometimes the announcers will say, "Oh, there's something going on out here that, blah blah blah," because they don't. Exactly. Yeah. And so, and then
there's a couple of journalists that I follow on YouTube that do this as well. When there's an issue that they want to talk about, but they don't want to encourage that person, or if anyone like them, they will intentionally leave their names out.
They should. And it's interesting. You know what you used to hear? You used to hear them call them the lone wolf. Do you remember that type, that acronym for these shooters, a lone wolf?
No.
Well, gee, that's, to me, for these people, that sounds great. Yeah, I'm a lone wolf. Wolves are cool.
Sure, right, yeah.
So I haven't seen that in the paper because someone called them out about calling them, glorifying them, the lone wolf,
Giving them a moniker. Yeah.
Exactly. So, I think there are things that can be done that may help, who knows, but certainly not showing it, not giving their name and so forth would be a step in the right direction. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've been rambling 100%. On for about 15 or 20 minutes. True. Mom's in town. She wanted to see the new dog.
You had an intruder, and
Who's got a baby? Somebody's got a birthday. Who's got the birthday?
Youngest girl.
My niece Cassidy has a baby who is having a birthday. How old?
Okay.
2.
She will be 2. Do we know the name?
Good.
Josie.
Josie
James. I like that.
Nice.
That's going to be a little wild one. But happy birthday, Josie.
Yeah, happy birthday.
By the way, my brother Jody Reed is coaching first base for the Marlins big league team tonight. If you want to catch it, you can see him out there. I remember the last time he did this, one of the players, big old boy, Joe's only 5'8", got angry with an umpire, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe a player, and Joe's trying to hold him back from fighting. And you got this 6'4" guy, 50-plus-year-old Joe saying, hey, you need to chill. That was pretty funny. So you never know what can happen. Maybe somebody gets pegged and Joe gets involved in a brawl. Other than that, any last comments? By the way, there's a real mess of a storm heading this direction. So if you're going to plan on going outside, I would walking the dogs. You probably want to do it here in the next couple of hours. That hurricane that came across Mexico, if you look at the radar, it is an ugly mess. Now, it's not a hurricane, not a tropical storm, but the rain it could be substantial. So you might want to take that into effect with your weekend plans.
Got you. Yeah, good heads up.
All right, Jason, take us out. Take us out. Oh, by the way, that's the a putting green in my backyard.